Hey guys, welcome back to the Abom barbecue pad. So today we are going to be working on seasoning and setting the paint on the new Lonestar Grillz offset smoker here. We've had this a couple of weeks now. I shared the unveil of it, and I'm just now getting to this portion of the of the smoker, of getting it seasoned and setting the paint. This is the first step that Lonestar Grillz recommends to anybody that purchases one of their units there, because they spray these down with this high temperature paint, and to properly set it or cure it, you need to have a fire in here from anywhere in the range of 225 to 250 degrees Fahrenheit for 3 to 6 hours. So I did want to point out, I forgot to show this in the first video, they do send you a set of instructions for these smokers and grills, and it gives you a complete rundown of care, how to season it, how to care for it, and how to take care of the outside, all the maintenance that you need to know about these kind of cookers. So they provide all that info for you. So what we're going to do to start with is, I've got a couple cans of this PAM right here, and you don't have to use PAM, but they just recommend any kind of cooking oil, but they do suggest a canola oil, which is what PAM is here. And this is just simply to make coating it down a little easier. Since it's an aerosol can, you can take this and just spray it down on everything inside and making it nice and simple. So that's what we're going to be using, is the PAM, the canola oil. All right, and we're going to be starting a fire in the firebox here. This will be the very first time I have ever used this, and this is going to be the very beginning of the learning experience on how to properly run and cook with this offset smoker here. I have used an offset in the past. I showed that in one of my older videos. I used to have the old, cheap charcoal grills, and the last one I bought the little side firebox that bolts onto the side of it. So I used that for years, and I learned how to really just grill on that grill right there. I did do some smoking, but those types of cookers are really hard to maintain the temperature. They're so thin, they have a lot of airflow through them. That's what's going to be really nice about this, is the quality of the build with this. You can really control your heat in the firebox with the proper damper. You don't have a bunch of airflow coming out the lid right here. So I really look forward to getting to know this smoker and how to use it and really cook some nice food on there. I'm really looking forward to it. I did do a couple things to the smoker before today. Actually, this weekend I've been out here just kind of tweaking it the way I want to, and we'll open it up and I'll give you a shot of what I'm talking about. So let's get to that and get started on it. Okay, to start out here, we've got our 3 thermometers here, and this is how I ordered it. I wanted them that way. We had our 2 down here on the lower chamber, 1 up here at the top. So whenever they ship these, they just screw these in by hand, and you got to set them yourself. These are pipe threads. 1/2-inch MPT thread is what that is. And what I did is I just unscrewed these. I took a 1/2-inch pipe tap and just chased those threads to kind of clean them up from any, the warping of the weld on those fittings. And then I screwed those in. I chased the threads and screwed these in until they were about a half a turn upside down. And then once I had them there, I went ahead and used my 7/8 end wrench and snugged them up until the position that you see there now. So these are set and ready to go, and shouldn't have any issue with that there. All right, let's go ahead and open her up. And what I want to point out as far as the inside of the smoker goes is that the inside of the pipe, this is new 24-inch pipe that they used to make this. There was a lot of surface rust built up. There was a lot of surface rust built up inside here, inside the pipe, and even on the inside of the lid. So me being the machinist and metal worker that I am, I took my grinders and my wire brushes, and I came in here and just kind of wire brushed all the inside of this out to where it removed most of the surface rust off of the inside of the pipe, as well as the lid. If you kind of look up, you can see right up here we had a little surface rust on the lid there as well. So wire brushed all that down, and then on the cooking grates, I'm gonna slide this one out and get it out of the way. On the angle iron rails right here, where the cooking racks go, there was a little bit of weld spatter right here from welding these on. So I took my chisel, my hammer, and just knocked off that little bit of weld spatter there, and that makes the sliding of the racks just that much more smoother. All right, same thing on the bottom. Removed any of the weld spatter that I found on the rails, and now we've got a nice smooth sliding action of the cooking shelves there. Looking down inside the cooking chamber here, these are your tuning plates. So I had showed this before. You can adjust these where you need to so that you can kind of evenly distribute the heat across the entire chamber right here. So this is something that we'll be playing with and learning where to properly set these things. They recommend once you get it figured out on where you can get a nice even heat, which is why I wanted the thermometers down here on both sides. We can kind of monitor that. Once you get these set in place, you just come in here with a grinder or anything and just kind of make you some marks up here. You know, make you some notches in here so that you know where these things need to be whenever you take them out. Because once we start using this, all this inside of this thing is going to start building up that layer of carbon on it and soot. And you won't be seeing any of these welds. You won't be seeing any of this stuff in here. Just like this right here. You know, these are going to be coated, covered up, and they will have to be cleaned occasionally. All right. I'll pull this one out of the way. Just want to point out I wire brushed the bottom of the pipe as well. I dress these welds down just a little bit right here because if we use this, put water in the bottom or use it to clean the inside out and drain it through this drain hole right there. So I just removed those welds right there where that pipe was welded in. All right, so I think that's about it. We are going to come back and we're going to start coating the entire inside of the grill down with our canola oil. All right, we'll go ahead and open up our firebox and we'll take a look in there. What I was going to point out was that I just kind of cleaned and wiped down all of the inside of the firebox. We're going to be coating all this down with our canola oil also. I don't know how that's going to have a long-term effect with the firebox, if that's going to be needed or not, but that's how we're going to initially start that. All right. So here's our this is our charcoal basket I showed in the intro video. I was also going to point out that these handles, I went ahead and dressed all of these handles more and softened them up to more of a rounded edge, more than the guys had put on there. Not that they were wrong or anything, but I just like a real soft edge if it's something that I got to handle. Okay, so we just cleaned that up, just kind of wiped it down. So there's that there. Also on the we've got our ash pan down here. This was an additional accessory that I wanted to have. Real nice heavy duty 1/4 inch thick plate steel that's broken, bent up, you know, and welded. It too has the handles here down on the it too has the handles, and I went ahead and dressed the edges where they burn these out more so than they did to kind of really round them off and soften them there, you know. So just for my personal preference, I'm just pointing this kind of stuff out. This is that's the kind of stuff that I want to do with it there. So we got it all cleaned and wiped down, and I'm going to go ahead and I think it's time to go ahead and get the canola oil and start coating everything down so that we can begin our fire up procedure. All right, we're going to go ahead and start coating it down using our Pam spray canola oil here. Just giving it a good shake. Instantly makes that surface rust disappear, right? I'm going to point out too that we're not doing anything to the external surface of the smoker at this time. They recommend wait about 5 to 6 uses on this to start cleaning the outside, and we'll talk about that later. Start at the top here. I gotta say, this does make it a little bit easier with this spray oil like this. Making sure to get the inside of the pipe, including the inside diameter right there. Don't miss that. We got a little bit left in here. See if I can get it on these. So this is our griddle top that's on top of the firebox there, and I think I forgot to mention earlier, I went ahead and I wiped it off the other day as well, real good, you know, and we're going to be seasoning the inside of this as well. You can use this as a pot warmer if you want to, or use it as a griddle if you want to actually cook some food on this after you got your fire in there. Yeah. Or you can pick it up and do some direct grilling on that cooking grate right there above the coals or the fire. I moved back over here to the smoke chamber. I'm going to go ahead and get the both the cooking grates sprayed in good as well. Also, I'll pull out the cooking grate of the firebox. I'm just going to set it over here and just spray it on this side here. I just got it upside down for now. We'll get the bottom of it coated good, and then I'll stick it back in there where it needs to go. This is my second can of the PAM. I went ahead and bought 4 whenever I was at the store there. I didn't know how much I was going to need and didn't want to have to run back to the store if I ran out of it. I'll just lay this one in here on top of it. And get the bottom side of it, and we'll just flip it over. I don't know how much is actually needed inside the firebox, but we're going to go ahead and season it anyway. And as we use it, we'll just keep monitoring it and see what it does. But definitely be good to coat the walls with it. Right inside the dampener plate that they weld on the inside of the hole there. Get it good. On the bottom here. I'm using up the rest of these 2 cans that still had a little in there. You see that one's empty there. Alright, our last thing to coat is the back of our fire door here. And get it. Alright guys, we got her all coated down. Here's you a little bit closer look at the inside of the smoke chamber. Griddle top and firebox lid. I think we are ready to start building our fire in here now. Before we get started, I wanted to point out my new stack of split pecan wood. I made a couple videos back. I published a video where I went and got some pecan wood from Fernando's farm. I mentioned maybe trying to find a log splitter to you know, have here and be able to split my own wood. I was totally ready to you know, take up that challenge and start making my own split wood. But I was talking to my friend Russ Jones over at Smoky Ribs Barbecue, and he suggested checking Facebook Marketplace because that's where he found somebody that offered split wood that he uses. So I got on there and looked, and lo and behold, I found like 3 or 4 people here in the area that actually sell split firewood of different types. So I contacted a couple of them, and I got in touch with a gentleman here. He and his son actually run a tree cutting business here in town. And this is what they do as a side business as well. They harvest the wood that they go and they cut, they bring it home, and they split it to sell for firewood. Now they have different types of firewood. They have oak for, you know, fireplaces and for heating, and then they have like this is pecan that they sell. They actually have several customers in town that they sell this split pecan wood to for the same reason why I wanted it, for their smokers. and they sell it to a couple restaurants that actually make you know, smoked meats. So I called him up and asked him, did he have any? He says, I got one load left, and that was this right here. And he cut this and split it 7 months ago. So we believe that it's already seasoned well, it's nice and dry, and it should burn really well. So we're gonna give this a try in the smoker. And you know, whenever I asked him how much it was, he says $125, and he actually delivers it too. Not only did he deliver it, he actually helped me stack it, because he told me on the phone, I don't stack it, but I'll, you know, unload it somewhere at your house. But I had him back in here. I started stacking it up right here. I just built this little makeshift firewood rack out of some scrap wood I had yesterday morning, and he started helping me stack it up. So he says, as long as I have some help, I don't mind helping somebody stack it. But $125 delivered. I don't think you can beat that. It seems to be a fair and average price for a whole load of split wood. So this is what we're going to be going with. He said if I start running out, give him a call and he'll start prepping another batch for me. So we're going to use this to start firing up our smoker. I'm going to start with a chimney full of just regular charcoal briquettes, just to kind of get a baseline for the fire started. We'll get this nice and hot, and we'll dump that in the firebox. And then once we get those burning good, I'll go ahead and grab a couple pieces of wood and start stacking our wood in there on top of it. All right, guys, here we go. Our first load of hot coals. We got our chimney here with our briquettes burning nice and hot, so let's go ahead and dump them in there. All right, this will give us a nice little base for our wood to ignite. All right, we're going to start with these 3 smaller pieces of pecan that I had in the stack. We'll go ahead and get them in there and let them start burning in. All right, from here I'm just going to start monitoring things. I'm going to watch my thermometer up there, and we need to make sure that we don't run over 250 degrees as per the instructions. Right now I'm just running it with the door open, just to help let the wood get ignited and get hot. And then I'm going to start watching my thermometers up here. So it looks like we're already starting to get close to 100 degrees, and they're all reading very similar. This one's slightly colder, probably because of the plates that we have in there. Guys, I can't tell you how good it's smelling back here on the patio. I have absolutely just come to love the smell of pecan wood as my go-to smoking wood. I think it just smells so good. So we've got our firebox going now for about 20 minutes since you see me put the logs in. I've had the door kind of cracked open. I haven't had it locked all the way shut. There's a look at how it's looking in there. And I've been monitoring the thermometers, and we are running at the top here 175 degrees Fahrenheit. Bottoms are a little bit lower. This one's at 150 right here, and they seem like they're kind of tapering out right there. Now I could be wrong. I may need to leave it a little bit longer and let it continue to burn, but I think I want to go ahead and stick 2 more logs on there. I've got 2 more that I already pulled off. These are some of the smaller ones. I think I'm going to go ahead and stick those on there and let them start burning in. And then what I'll do is I'll just if this starts getting too hot, you know, I'm going to monitor it by opening this door up like that and giving it a lot more airflow. Things are looking good. We are approaching 225 on our upper thermometer here, so we're starting to get into the range there. We're almost to our range that we need to keep this thing set at. This one's showing 200 there, so my goal is to try to get the upper chamber here to 250 without going over, and then that should put the bottom of the smoke chamber here within the range that it needs to be. But again, smelling so good out here on the patio, man. I can't even explain that to you, how good it smells. So we're just monitoring our fire. You can see it's going really good there. So we'll probably go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and close up the firebox now completely and just use the dampener there for the airflow into it. Now I'm going to start watching these thermometers real good. It's been about another 20 minutes or so since I put those last 2 logs on there, and we've got her fine-tuned. I think it's going pretty well. We've got our door shut. You can see we've got our dampener shut to this level here. Our wood's looking good. And let me show you where our temps are at. I think I finally got her leveled off. We are right at the 250 mark on the top. This one's just about even with that on the left side of the smoke box, 250, and this one is right at the 225. So I'm right in that range that I want to try to maintain this. So I have been adjusting the dampener to slow down the rate of the fire to try to keep it right there. So I'm going to continue to keep monitoring this today, just like I'm doing right here. You know, try to keep the temp right around the 250 to 225 mark, and hopefully it's all going to go well. Again, it just smells so good out here. Even though I don't even have meat on here smoking, it smells like a smokehouse out here. This is what it's supposed to smell like. Some good burning pecan wood and a big pit smoker like this. So I'll bring you guys back later and let you know how the progress is going on the you know, on our seasoning of the big Lonestar Grillz smoker. All right, guys, it has been 5 hours now since I first started the fire in the new smoker here. So I think we've got our cure and our paint set right about where it needs to be. It said between 3 and 6 hours to maintain it. So I just wanted to give you an update of where we're at. So I have still been continuing to maintain it right around 250. There has been a couple times when I was adding a new log that it would blaze up, and it went just above 250 a little bit. So whenever that would happen, I would just open it up and let it kind of cool down a little bit, and you know, get back down to the max temp there of the 250. But it's doing real good. I burned probably, I didn't even think to count them, but we've probably put about total of 8 logs in there so far. 2 of them here in the past hour. I just have been maintaining a you know, a small fire in there, just like you see, and I think I'm going to continue to keep it going until the evening time, because I have an idea on maybe doing our first cook on it today. So we'll go ahead and close that back up. I'm going to go ahead and open everything up so you can see how it looks after 5 hours of cooking in. So there's our griddle lid and our griddle top right there. And let's go ahead and look inside the chamber right here. Everything's looking good. Looks like it's starting to season in good. Got that nice glossy finish on it from the canola oil, starting to bake in on it. So it's doing really good. But like I said, I'm probably going to go ahead and keep my fire going. One of the things that I've been doing, I'll show you this right here. I've got my Essential Craftsman axe. This is the axe that Scott made for me out of some of my metal chips. And what I've been doing is I've been knocking some of the bark off some of these pieces up here. I decided earlier in the burn that I'm probably going to like it a little bit better without having the bark on the wood. So I'm going to work on removing the bark as I'm doing some cooks. I'll probably do like I've been doing, like all these are debarked right here on the top. and I'll probably just continue to do that whenever I'm actually using the smoker and knock the bark off of it. I just think that it might provide a little bit, maybe a less harsh smoke on the wood. I've heard that people use the bark, some people don't use the bark. For me, just doing this as a hobby in the backyard, I'm probably going to go through the effort of removing the bark whenever I'm using the wood in here for the smoke box. So what I've decided to do as far as a cook today, it's approaching about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I had planned, this is Sunday, I had planned on cooking Abby and I a filet, steak today for dinner, and I was going to use the PK grill there to do that, but I think I'm going to go ahead and cook them right over the fire here using the firebox griddle. What we'll do is go ahead and remove the griddle plate there and just cook them directly on to the this cooking rack right here. I think that's what I want to do. So I'm just going to keep this going for a couple more hours like we're doing, and then when it gets closer to dinner time, I'm going to bring the steaks out here and just cook them directly over the fire, and that'll be the first time I've ever cooked steaks like that directly over a wood fire. So hopefully they're going to turn out pretty good. I'll give you some shots about shots of that as we get to it. Okay. All right, guys, it's approaching the 5 o'clock hour. We started this at 9 o'clock this morning, and I told you earlier we were going to go ahead and keep it maintained because I'm going to go ahead and do some cooking on it today. Let's go ahead and take a look at our firebox right there. So it is still nice and hot. I don't think I need to add any more wood to it at this point. So what we're going to do is go ahead and get the griddle top here ready. By the way, I went ahead and moved the whole smoker down here close to the end of the patio to help kind of direct some of the smoke out that way. So I think that this is probably where I'll end up using it whenever we fire this thing up and run it. That griddle top right there is ready to do some cooking, but we're going to go ahead and take it off. I just got my welding gloves here. I'm going to go ahead and pull that off real quick because it is hot. All right, there you can see looking down into our actual firebox, and this is our cooking grate. So we're going to go ahead and start. What I've got is just a simple pouch with potatoes and onions with some seasoning. I'm going to set those on there, and I got 2 pieces of fresh corn wrapped up that's buttered and got a little bit of seasoning on there. So we're going to go ahead and start cooking those. I'm going to give those about 15-20 minutes and let them cook, and then we're going to bring the steaks over here and cook them directly on the grate here. I think we'll probably go ahead and close this up, keep the heat in there. All right, well, we've had our vegetables on there for about 20 minutes now, and I want to go ahead and get the steaks and throw them on there, let them start cooking. Our fire is still doing good, even though it's starting to die down. I think we still got plenty of heat to cook our steaks. So I want to go ahead and get these guys on there. There's our veggies cooking in. So I'm gonna go ahead and set the other camera up, and we're gonna go ahead and start cooking these fillets in. These are 2 fillets. That big helicopter flying overhead. There they are. See, these are 2 fillets that I bought from the butcher a couple of days ago when I was there getting the pork roast. I wanted to cook them for dinner, and just thought, hey, we got the smoker fired up today. Let's go ahead and make use of that grill top right there and that wood, and we're going to cook us some steaks. All right, let's set these bad boys on there. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and close it up in between my rotations there of the steak. All right, let's see how they're doing. Go ahead and give them a flip. I'm just going to keep flipping them every couple minutes, just to try to help get them cooked in nice and even. And I'm putting them right over that hottest part of the firebox there. These guys should just about be ready to pull off here. I've been rotating them every 2 minutes. And I think we are getting them cooked in just in the nick of time. We're kind of died down to where we just got a little bit of a coal bed left down in there. We are still coming up to temp. We are almost ready. Grab my thermometer and give them a check. So that one is showing 118. So we're just about ready to pull them off. I'm gonna give them another minute and I'm gonna take everything off there. All right, well, we just got our dinner pulled, ready to go inside and enjoy that, cool down a little bit. Man, it's been a hot day out here. It's very beginning of August and it's like 95 degrees out here, it feels like. But I think everything went well for the seasoning of our Lonestar smoker. And I'm just gonna go ahead and just let that fire just do its thing, just die out. I'm not adding anything else to it. And we're just gonna let it die out and burn out there. So hopefully you enjoyed watching today. This is a learning experience for me, just going with the instructions of what I need to do with this grill, or smoker should I say. But I still haven't decided what we're gonna do for our first big smoke out here. I'm thinking about maybe do it, I mean, there's a lot of options there. Obviously you can do a brisket, you can do you know, pork roast, chickens. I just haven't decided what I'm gonna do yet, but whenever I do it, I'm planning on cooking a lot at one time, you know, just kind of filling that grate up, because I'm gonna do it for you know, a lot of my family members too. So whenever that day comes, I'm just gonna cook a bunch, have them all come and pick up, you know, their roast or their chicken or whatever it is I cook, and get some practice in on this smoker. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed watching, and we'll catch you next time. All right.